Hey friends, I am literally just sitting here in my kitchen. The dishwasher is on and I just wanted to stop by and share a little bit of my heart. And yeah, I'm really just loving doing these videos. It's something that maybe it'll only impact one person or maybe it'll impact a lot, but I think there's something so valuable about sharing and documenting parts of life and what you're going through and just, yeah, sharing life. So I wanted to share today something that's just been so on my heart. And if you follow my blog or my Instagram or any of that kind of stuff, you know that I'm extremely passionate about women knowing who they are, loving who they are, whether it's the skin that they're in, whether it's the body that they have, whether it's the mind that they have, or the heart that they have, or the passions that they have. Like, just so beyond motivated to just empower women, whether that's in therapy, in a session with a client, whether that's a friend I have, whether that's someone that reads my blog or listens to, or watches these videos. I just want you always to leave whatever interaction we have, whether it's in person or on social media, just encouraged and reminded that you are beautiful, that you are valuable, and that who you are and the heartbeat you have for life is unlike anyone else's. And so something I want to talk today about is just the importance of being your own person. And I think it's one of those things that is kind of talked about, but it really isn't. And we live in a culture that really promotes to be a cookie cutter replica of pretty much everyone. I mean, you can just trace that back to when you're little and people ask, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And there are always these cliche cookie cutter ideas that we're given as children to grow up and aspire to be a certain career or a certain profession, or to replicate maybe our parents and be parents as well, or whatever that is. And I'm not saying those things are bad, because they're wonderful and important. But I think what our world kind of needs is more people that encourage you to look outside of that box and to make whatever life you want happen. And we are starting to see that with a lot of entrepreneurs out there and a lot of different businesses, which is incredible and great. And I love that. But what I'm talking about is also more than a profession, and it's also more than creating a business, which is so important and so vital to changing our culture and the things that we offer and all of that. But what I'm talking about is really creating the type of life that you want, and it might not look like someone else's. And when I'm talking about life, I'm not just talking about where you live and what you do for a career, or any kind of titles that are associated with being a mother or being a friend or being a daughter or a sister or whatever. I'm talking about you as a person outside of all of those things. So what I'm talking about is, how do you cultivate who you are as a person individually, and what does the world tell us about that? And from the research that I've done and just through my career and my passion in psychology, you read so many articles and so many books that talk about, cultivating your self-awareness and self-love and self-care, which is such a trendy word, which I could talk about forever in another video. But how do you find out who you are? How do you cultivate that awareness? How do you, how do you become more of your own person? So I wanted to share about just a couple things, but one, it sounds cheesy, but it's actually very true. I work with a lot of people, and my clients range from like 6 years old to 80, and in everywhere in between, every type of disorder, every type of idea possible, or at this point in my career. Eventually I'll be more specialized, but right now I'm seeing lots of different people. And I see so often just this trend, and what it is people tend to come in to talk about something, and usually it has to do with like maybe a significant other or someone that they love that has an addiction, or something that's happened in their life that was impacted by someone else, whether it's a trauma like rape, or child abuse, or parents that divorced, or whatever other entity. And those things massively, massively, of course, shape that person and impact the way that they develop and the way that they see the world and the lens that they see it. And a lot of the work we do is to process that and to uncover, hey Hattie, are you okay? Sorry, my little puppy is making sounds. But to uncover, like what is the meaning of all that and how does that apply to how they've grown as a person. So really valuable, really deep stuff. And if you don't have a therapist, I 100%, I know it's kind of biased because I am a therapist, but I 100% recommend it because there's so much of our life that is impacted by others. But I'm totally going on tangent now. So the reason I was saying that was because those people and those relationships so vitally impact every single person. But the thing that's incredible is the relationship that you have with yourself impacts your life more than any other person. And it's a relationship that we don't talk about super often. It's something that, you know, as you grow up, you talk about, I wonder who I'm going to marry one day, or which boy at high school is going to ask me out, or, you know, who my best friends are going to be, or who my maid of honor is going to be, or any of that kind of stuff. And you always are focusing on these people. But like, oh my goodness, like the value of focusing on who you are is something that I feel like our culture is still learning, and it's beginning to kind of become trendy, like to do self-care and things like that, which is part of discovering that. But that's such a surfacey version of really finding out who you are and really cultivating that love and that self-acceptance and just the value of that. So anyways, I just want to urge you through this video, but also through future videos, just the importance of really making time for yourself, valuing yourself. It's cheesy, but it's true. Like the most important relationship you'll ever have in this world is the one that you have with you. And I see so many people, and I'm guilty of this too. We invest so much of our heart, so much of our time into other people, which is important. Like community is so vital. But to invest in who you are and to invest in, you know, building your confidence, building your identity, building your self-sufficiency and your resilience to be your own person. Because you think about, like, for example, I'm married and I just absolutely adore my husband, and he is my best friend and totally my puzzle piece and my soulmate. But the reality is one day he's not going to be here. Like, we're probably going to live different lifespans, and I need to love who I am outside of him loving me. And you think about your friendships, like friendship is something that lasts so long, but sometimes it's not guaranteed, and you need to love who you are because you're not always going to have a friend to call you or talk to you. I work with some individuals that are older, and some of the conversations that we have in session are about what their life looks like now that they don't have friends. All of their friends have passed away because of the age that they are and the season in life that they're in, and how much sadness and loneliness comes with that, which is so important to grieve and so important to process. And it's so important to know and have a relationship with yourself as well, because when you have a relationship that's strong and you feel empowered to be by yourself, you feel so sure of what you're passionate about and you're self-sufficient in that way, that is such a gift to give to yourself. It's such a loving thing. And I don't think our culture teaches us that. I think, and you know, I'm saying this out of love, I'm saying this out of conviction for myself too, because it's taken me a lot of years to really truly love being who I am and being by myself. I value friendship so much. I'm such an extrovert, and I look back on childhood, I look back in high school years and college years and even years only a couple years ago, and there's so many times in my life that I have just found my identity in being around certain people and just finding my joy and all of my energy from that. And I definitely still do find a lot of energy from that and joy from that. But I've reached a spot in my life where I'm just so valuing growing as a person and cultivating this relationship with myself. And yeah, maybe this sounds so silly, but my heart is just so for every woman and every man too, every single human being to love who they are. Like, we are in a culture that tells us to not be happy with what we look like, to not feel satisfied with what we have, to feel compared, to feel inferior, to feel alone. And we do this thing where we connect so much on social media that we're actually disconnecting from so many deep friendships, but also that impact that social media has on us and our psyche and the way that we view ourselves. Like, there's so much I want to share. But the message of this video, and I'm wrapping up, I swear, is just, as much as the hustle and bustle of life comes, and as many beautiful people come into your life, which are so valuable, and no matter how important your career is or your dreams are, like, dream big for yourself, dream big and cultivate a deep love for yourself, and make sure that you're not just filled with this hustle and bustle of chaos and busyness, that you forget to really, really, know and love yourself. And I keep thinking about it, but like, so often our culture tells us to love others and to accept the approval of others and desire that. But if you don't love yourself, it doesn't matter if someone else loves you. Like, you need to love yourself at the end of the day. And though other people's love doesn't sink in the way the love that you have for yourself sinks in. And people are going to disagree with you. They're going to question you. You're going to lose friends. You're going to break up with boyfriends, or maybe your marriage will eventually break. Like, you don't know what will happen in life, and nothing is guaranteed. And it's so important to really love and value you. And, nothing else really matters if you can't, spend time with yourself and you can't love who you are. So I'm just sharing this just because it's so heavy on my heart, and I see it so often in, like I said, in sessions, but in friendships, and even in my own life, just always questioning, like, where do I get my value from? When I look at my to-do list for the week and I look at all the people I'm gonna see, or the schedule that's maxed out, thinking, like, where am I spending time with myself? Where am I, whether it's just reading a book or going to the gym or just sitting with my thoughts or meditating or going to yoga or doing something that's just doing nothing, like making sure that I'm a priority. And so I thought I'd share, because I don't know about you, but I am always hungry to grow, and I'm always hungry just to better my life. And I just hope that through this YouTube channel and through my blog and my Instagram, that you just continue to find just that inspiration in your everyday life, just to live big, to dream big, and to love yourself fully. So I'll talk to you guys soon, and thank you for watching. Bye.